Broadcasters first. So Rob Jones from Sky Sports. Rob, if you're able to get us going, please.
There we go. Hi Daniel, good to see you.
Hi Rob, good to see you.
Firstly, let's start with your newest face, Christos Zolis, if we could do. I read a Greek journalist saying that he thinks he's the biggest talent in the country, so just how highly do you rate him?
I'm always careful in praising young talents too much, so for that the best way is always to protect them also a little bit and to work with them on a daily basis. But yeah, of course, he's a player with lots of potential. We are all happy that we are able to bring him in as new signing, and of course we see a lot also in him and his potential and his skills. But with this young lads, you have to be careful. Yeah, you have to work with them. They have to learn a lot. They have to adapt to a new country. They have to adapt to a new football culture and also to the best league in the world. So for that, we have to be careful in our expectation. Don't put too much pressure on their shoulders. So for that, we are all happy that we have them, but I don't want to hype too much around him.
Just looking at your squad as a whole, recruitment-wise, firstly, do you feel you need any more? And secondly, do you feel you're better prepared as a squad than you were 2 seasons ago?
Well, it's always up to prove it in reality, but in general, I got the feeling so we as a club are much better prepared in comparison to 2 years ago, because let's be honest, 2 years ago we needed also the Premier League money in order to pay for our sins in the past. We had to pay all the money back that we owed. We invested in the infrastructure, we invested in the training ground, we invested also in extending contracts of our young players, also in our academy, and we had exactly one field player with Premier League experience, Alexander Tete. No other field player had Premier League experience. So let's be honest, so we got many compliments and also had some highlights, but if we are really honest, we would have needed a miracle in order to stay there. So because our setup was not made for Premier League. So meanwhile, we are the only self-funding club on this level, and we are still the big underdog. We all know this, but we all got the feeling that we are much better prepared as a club. We have, as a group, also as a group of players, we were able also to bring some good signings in. So it's still not that we have the opportunities and possibilities that some of our competitors have, but we know our way, and in general, so this time around we don't need a miracle. We just need a little bit of luck in terms of injuries with key players. We need unbelievable hard work, and then we want to try to give it a go and also to earn the right to stay another season on this level.
If I offered you 17th place now, would you take it?
No, I mentioned a few days before I wouldn't take it, because for me it's just important that after the season we have the feeling, okay, we've grinded out everything what was possible and finish in the best possible position. I can't tell you right now which position this will be, because we will not be too addicted to the table. Yeah, of course, we're not naive. We know if we finish on position 17, we will get probably lots of praise and everyone will celebrate, and probably will have a non-relegation parade through the city. So, and rightly so, well deserved, would be a great success. But I can't tell you right now. I always want the maximum, and for that I can't tell you right now. I'm already happy just with position 17 when I got the feeling. So it's even better it's even possible to finish in a better position. So what I want is to go into each and every game and be the best Norwich City side that you can be to deliver with top performances. Also hopefully with good results, and then we'll see the outcome in the end.
How is Teemu Pukki doing, and how much involvement do you think he can have tomorrow?
Yes, in general, our preseason was of course tricky, like for many other clubs as well, due to the Euros. We had many players who arrived later, so for that it was of course a bit complicated, but no complaints about this. It's for all the other clubs the same. Our problem was a bit the COVID outbreak 2.5 weeks ago, so we had to cancel 2 friendlies. We had to play the last 2 friendlies also with just a pretty small number of available lads. Also Timo was involved in the COVID case anyhow, and he missed a major part of pre-season, but since 10 days he's back in training, and yeah, he's a good player. He also came back in a good shape, and he's each and every day helps him to be back on his fitness level. But like for many players, it could be that we need the first 2 or 3 weeks in order to work further on a bit on the individual fitness, because many players have missed a major part of preseason, especially the last 2 weeks. That was not that easy, and Timo is one of these players, but each and every day will help right now to be back at his best, and he's on a good way.
Just a final question from me then. I know what a great relationship you've got with the fans, but it's something we're asking all managers, that grounds are going to be full this weekend. No restrictions, obviously, in terms of masks and distancing within the grounds. Have you spoken with the players about the fact that you all feel safe enough going into grounds now?
Yes, we totally trust our experts and totally also trust our protocols. We've got great specialists also to make sure that the protocols really work. So, we have to live with the most dangerous and difficult pandemic since a century, and for that. There's never a 100% guarantee. I think it's important to stay disciplined and also to stay smart and also strict with the protocols. But once everyone is really willing to adapt also, and the behavior is quite disciplined, and I think also in Premier League level we have to be a bit role models also how we behave, and also how we wear, for example, some masks and something like this. So I think that's quite important. So we feel as safe as it's possible during these strange times, and definitely a good feeling to be allowed to be back in front of supporters.
All the best for tomorrow, Daniel. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Okay, if we could go to Anita at PLP, please.
Afternoon, Daniel.
Good afternoon, Anita. Hello.
Welcome back to the Premier League. How was your summer?
Thanks a lot. The summer was quite good. So first time since a couple of years that we had a proper summer break. It felt a bit like 2 years in a row just working many games. So for that we needed the summer break, and it was good to relax. But meanwhile we are also since 6 weeks back in training, and lots of work in the last days. Also not that easy because of the Corona outbreak. But we're ready to go and want to go tomorrow.
It's good to see you back in the Premier League. I just wanted to reflect a bit on your last time when you were in the top flight. What would you say was your biggest takeaway from then that you're hoping to work on and implement this season? If I'm honest,
I'm not so tempted to speak about lessons learned. So in general, you always try to develop as a player, as a manager, as a sporting director, as a club, and you always need to have this feeling. Okay, we want to develop and improve each and every day, and learn also things. And each and every day, once you have the feeling, no, right now I know everything about football, and I don't have to develop anymore, then you should stop working, because then you're not good anymore, and then pretty quickly you become a dinosaur and you're not good enough more for the best level. So of course we're trying to move forward and to develop and to improve each and every day, because the task is always to try to be a bit ahead of the wave, and that's what we're also trying to do. In general, I mentioned just before, I got the feeling, so 2 years ago it was of course an unbelievable surprising promotion anyhow, and we just promote with a bunch of young lads, and let's be honest, we had players who are struggling to get contracts on second and third tier in other countries anyhow, and we tried to play with them on Premier League level. We got lots of praise and many compliments, and also had some highlights, but if you're really honest, we were not really prepared for this top level. And right now you got the feeling, so you are in a much better position as a club, and also have more experience, a better group of players. And we're still the only self-funding club on this level, and we're still the club probably with the lowest financial opportunities. We don't want to make more out of us than we actually were, but than we actually are. But we go with our tools, and we got the feeling right now we're much better prepared. And for that, I want to try to earn also the right to stay on the top level also for a bit longer.
Sure, the fans will be hoping the same as well. You touched on Christos Solis a moment ago. He's one of 6 signings that have come along, amongst some other loanees who've become permanent. Can we expect to see any more arrivals or exits before the end of the transfer window?
Yes, we will see. So in general, so we got the feeling, so there is still a bit to do, and we will definitely do something. But this is not my topic today. So from tomorrow on, we can speak about this after the game again, because we still have 2 weeks anyhow, a little bit more in order to make things happen. I think to be competitive, we still need to do a little bit. But in general, my focus right now just on the game, and I want to be competitive tomorrow.
Speaking about that game, you'll be welcoming Liverpool to Carrow Road tomorrow. They haven't been so active in the window, but are recovering key players that were injured for large parts of last season. How much of a challenge are you expecting?
Yes, we're facing a world-class club, one of the best clubs in the world, with world-class player, world-class coach, world-class supporters. It's still one of the best teams in the world. When I think about the past years, they won the Champions League title, they won the Premier League title, and we spoke about a bit weaker season last season. Yeah, they finished still in the top position. And if I'm honest, for Liverpool, it's also not that easy to bring players in that are better than they already have. Yeah, if you want to find better offensive players than Mane and Salah and Firmino and Jota, then good luck. And if you want to find better centre backs than Van Dijk and all the others, then good luck. I think they had a fantastic signing also with Konate. They had some problems in this position due to injuries. When I think right now about their options, Van Dijk available, Matip available, Gomez available, Konate is top class. Perhaps I have to speak with Jürgen anyhow if you want to send one of them out on loan. So I would definitely take them. It's a big challenge. We know this. We are probably not the favorite in this game, but it will be the same task more or less in nearly each and every game during the season. And we have worked so unbelievably hard to be allowed to be there in competitive games against the best sides in the world. And we're just wanting to go and we want to play these games, and we know that we are the underdog, but in one game everything is also possible, and we will fight with our tools and try to be competitive and try to grind the best result out that we can get.
I don't want to focus on the difficulties, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on the fact that after you do host Liverpool, it's then Manchester City away, followed by Leicester at home, and then Arsenal away. What are your thoughts on that welcome back to the Premier League?
Yes, you could argue it's not the easiest start if I'm honest, but I'm not sure if it's getting easier when we're facing Chelsea and Man United and Tottenham or whatever. No complaints. So I am also far away from interpreting too much into the fixture list or whatever. You have to play each and every opponent 2 times, 1 time at home, 1 time away. And I'm not willing to interpret a bit too much. Yeah, of course, I want to, as a promoted side, you need a good start anyhow for the confidence and for the momentum. And of course, it's tricky when you start with Liverpool, Man City, Leicester, Arsenal, but no complaints about this. So each and every team has to play this opponents at any point. And for that, we take it like it is. So we can't influence the fixture list. And for that, we try to be at our best in each and every game and try to get the best result that we can get. And I promise you what, so we will definitely go into each and every game in order to win a football game. It's the same if you have a home game against Liverpool or away game against Man City, or perhaps a home game or away game against a side who is also promoted together with us. We go into each and every game in order to win a football game. And if this is not possible, then we want to make sure that we don't lose it. So this will be our attitude, and not to be too addicted to the table after 3 or 4 game days. It's more or less like we want to enjoy the ride, we want to enjoy the way, and then we see what the outcome in the end is.
Okay, well, thank you very much and all the best tomorrow.
All the best, Anita. Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you, Anita. Okay, Donovan Blake from ITV, please.
Hi, Daniel.
Donovan, good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Firstly, in terms of a new recruits, are they all going to be involved in the squad over tomorrow, or are there like to be 1 or 2 missing out?
We will see. So we'll also make some really late decisions. We have to do this because the preseason was a bit interrupted and influenced by, of course, some injuries of some key players like Kenny McLean or Grant Henley with in the first part of the preseason to do their re-up, and then was more or less like pretty much affected also by the Euros, and then also due to the COVID cases. So we need to take some late decisions and but at least all are eligible and available for the game, and it's definitely good news.
Yeah, and within the squad, obviously there's some of the players who had that year's experience of playing in the top flight. I guess they'll be better for it as well, and they'll go into the season undaunted.
Well, in general, like I mentioned before, I got the feeling so we are much better prepared. And even players like, when I think about Todd Cantwell and Max Evans, they were also, during their first Premier League season, quite impressive, but they had to play the season without any experience on this level. Meanwhile, they all have 30, 35 games. The same for our centre-backs, for Grant Hanley, for Christoph Zimmermann, anyhow, and all the others. We were also able to bring some new players in who had also experience on the top level, on Bundesliga level, for example, like with Milot Wasika and also Josh Sargent, with Pierre Lesmelou, also pretty experienced lad who had experience on the top flight in France. So in general, so the group of players is, I think, more prepared in terms of being competitive on top level. That this is not a guarantee that we do it better in comparison to 2 years ago. So we'll have to prove it each and every day, and we have to dig in and grind result out. And especially the first weeks will be not that easy because the last weeks were, due to our COVID outbreak, not that easy in terms of preparation. But we don't complain about this. We take it like it is, and we try to do our best in order to represent this yellow shirt in the best possible way. And we are greedy also to earn the right, then also to spend a bit long on the top level.
Yeah, you touched on the supporters a little bit earlier. Obviously, the protocols is the most important things, and you mentioned the discipline of supporters as well. On the counter side, you have the benefit of having the Yellow Army back. How much of an impact do you think that will make, particularly tomorrow to kick off?
We need this. We need this impact, and that they should stay disciplined and also strict to the protocols. Doesn't mean that they're not allowed to make some noise and to cheer us up. We need them, and I tell you what. So we've missed them for such a long time. So it's more or less since 18 months we have to play without them, and especially as a newly promoted side, it was also no coincidence that in last games, the last time when we were in the Premier League, we were struggling a little bit because as a newly promoted side, you need the supporters, and we're right now back on the best season in the history of Norwich City Football Club, 97 points. This club has never achieved 97 points, so we didn't have the chance to celebrate this with them together in the stadium. And I also hope that everyone comes in a good mood. Of course, also looking forward to see us competing against one of the best teams in the world, but also to celebrate even a little bit together with us. Also, what we've done in the last season was unbelievable record season, and I think we need definitely a pretty special atmosphere, and regardless what the final result is, this team and these players deserve also a great atmosphere, and also our supporters deserve this. They've missed so much to be at our living room at Carroll Road, so they just should enjoy themselves and celebrate. Of course, disciplined and also strict with the protocols, but also still to enjoy everything, because this is what it's all about in football. We're speaking so much about contracts and money and business, and that's right, because we're not naive. We're living in this world, but it's also about the feeling of togetherness and unity and spirit, and this is what we want to feel and sense also tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have a great atmosphere.
Superb. Wish you well tomorrow.
Thank you, Donny.
Thanks, Donny. Okay, if there's no more broadcast questions, we'll move on to Jim from the Press Association. Jim.
Help if I started my video, wouldn't it? Nice to see you again, Daniel.
Hi, Jim.
Can I just check on some team news from the rest of the squad? Are all the issues with COVID, are they all clear now? You've got no one else having to miss out because of that?
Yes, sadly we have to go without Przemysław Placheta because he's still struggling a little bit. He's not positive anymore, but still struggling a bit with the consequences of his COVID infection, and he will miss out the game. Apart from this, everyone is eligible to play. Also, the new signings are eligible to play. We have our long-term injury with Sam Byram. Yes. There's a question mark behind Andrew Obama-Midela because he missed out the first days in team training due to a tonsillitis anyhow, so a little question mark behind him, but all the others are available.
And Todd Cantwell, no issue with his ankle foot? That's not a problem anymore?
Yes, there were a few concerns in the last week, also in the beginning of the week, but since 2 days he's back in team training, so yesterday And today we have to wait a bit, like how his body reacts, but looks quite good, and it seems that he's also available for the team selection tomorrow.
Obviously, with last time in the transfer window, it was very unsettling for Todd and also for Emi. Is there any concerns that it's going to be a similar for your players this year? Is it a bit frustrating that the window is shut now and you can just get on with things?
You can never say never in this business, and especially not when you're a self-funding club, because when some crazy offers come in, there's never anyhow a guarantee anyhow. But in general, we are in a top class position anyhow. We want to keep the squad, and the plan is not to sell our players. No, we want to keep our best players, and hopefully in the next days we can even improve our squad a little bit, because there are a few areas where we need to do still a bit business. But I'm also quite confident that it's possible to do this. So we know that we need our key players and our best players to be competitive, and for that you can never say never in this business, but I'm pretty confident that we keep our best players together.
You talked a bit about what's different about the club and the squad and everything, but what is different about Daniel Farke heading into this new Premier League season again?
2 years older, 2 years more experience, perhaps. Whatever. In general, I mentioned it's also as a manager, you always have the will and also the attitude that you want to improve and develop each and every day, and I also got this feeling, and I think it's the same also when I think about Jürgen, or the best coaches in the world, with Jürgen, with Pep Guardiola, with Thomas Tuchel and all the others. So they need to have this feeling, okay, they want to develop and want to improve each and every day. So like I mentioned before, so once you think you know everything about football, you become a dinosaur and you're not good enough anyhow. So in football, it's always you have to try to be ahead of the wave anyhow, and for that I also hope that each and every day I grow as a person, I grow as a manager, and still can go in terms of developing. But my general attitude, my general thoughts about football haven't changed, and for that I'm still the same person that I was, or quite similar person at least, that I was 2 years ago.
And just finally for me, looking at the games last time in the Premier League that Norwich were close to getting a positive result from, but maybe, looking back games like Crystal Palace and where there was small margins, is that something which you focus on this time, sort of game management in key moments, so that if Norwich are leading 1-0 or is drawing, as you said, not to lose, not to put yourself in a position where you might throw away the chance of crucial points?
Yeah, small things are always decisive in football, in terms that I use this phrase more or less since years, and to be spot on, to be good in game management, to be good in the details is always the key to be successful. And if we didn't know this, then we couldn't have been successful 2 years ago with promotion and a record season. Not like last season. We know how crucial it is to be good in game management, good in details, and that's why we got many compliments for our performances. But sadly, we lost many games just with one goal. And if I'm really honest, if you always lose with one goal, then it's also not unlikely, then it's more likely you're missing a little bit. And if we're really honest, I spoke about that we were missing definitely a little bit of individual quality the last time when we were around on Premier League level, and we still don't have the biggest names in the football world in our team, but we got the feeling we're much better prepared, and for that we hopefully we can turn the fine margins around also for us, that we are capable to win more games with one goal instead of losing one game with one goal. It will still be a big challenge for us. We are not naive. We know that we are in the best league in the world and face some of the best teams in the world. If it would be that easy to beat teams like Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea anyhow, nearly everyone could do this. It will be tough work and tough challenge, and we have to be spot on in each and every game day. But this is also our challenge and our claim. We want to be top class and give us the chance also to win as many points as possible.
You would take a scrappy 1-0 against Liverpool. I think that would a lot of people have been happy with that. Thanks very much for your time, Daniel. Good luck.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Jim, thank you. Okay, if we could go to Neil McClellan, please. Neil, you're currently on mute.
God, so a new season, still old problems. So good afternoon, nice to see you.
Yeah.
Just take you back briefly to your first game the last time you were up. That was in Anfield. It was quite a baptism of fire. Just briefly, what your recollection of that? Did that confirm, how tough the Premier League was going to be? And do you think equally this time this is a chance to make a statement this time in your first game against them?
Yes, like I mentioned, I think our group of players, you can't compare this season with 2 years ago because we're slightly different. My thoughts for the game 2 years ago. First of all, we won the second half. That was quite good with 1-0, and we bounced back. Even the first half, we had good spells, but in general, so you can't allow yourself to have mistakes against one of the best sides in the world. I can imagine we had an unbelievably unlucky own goal anyhow. I think also Salah and then Van Dijk scored goals anyhow when Van Dijk once after set piece and also Salah after counter attack. You have to be spot on in each and every moment against such a top class side and such world class players. Otherwise, you are getting punished. And for that, we know that we have to be spot on and top class in all the details in order to give ourselves a chance to have a chance against this top side. And it's the same task than what we had 2 years ago, hopefully with a better outcome than 2 years ago.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Neil. Okay, anybody else? Okay, Paddy Dyke from the EDP, please, Paddy.
Neil, how are you?
Hey, all good, thanks a lot. How are you?
Not too bad, mate, not too bad, yeah. Looking forward to tomorrow, I'm sure.
Me as well.
Try not to take you back down things you've already said, but you did mention Lucas Rupp had a bit of an ankle issue at the end of the Newcastle game, so he's fine, just to clarify, no issues.
Yes, no concern. So he was struggling the first 1 or 2 days, but could train normally the whole week, and he's also available and in good shape.
Now, you've said, a little bit of doubt around Obama Daly, so does that, put more of an onus on bringing Grant Hanley back, and how big a issue would that be for a guy who hasn't played, as you explained last Saturday, not played a minute of pre-season, but then on the flip side, very experienced player, would be able to handle it potentially if you had to go that route. How much you have to balance that up, and not just him, but obviously Timu as well, and any of the guys who've been out for 10 days or so with COVID-related issues.
Well, in general, this is exactly the complicated task at the moment, without going too much into details with individual players. But we have, of course, many problems with key players out, because first of all, they missed a part of preseason either due to injury or because they returned later back after the Euros, and then we had this COVID outbreak. For example, after Grant, after his re-up anyhow, he was due to play the last 4 games anyhow, but then we had to cancel 2 friendlies, and the last 2 friendlies he missed due to the COVID situation, and he's just since 8 days back or 7 days back in team training. And of course not ideal, not like how you would paint a picture in order to be prepared for the first game, and the same with several other players as well. I think we need to find the balance, because we can't say, okay, listen, we go without all our key players into the first games, because at any point they need also some game time in order to get back in the rhythm. But on the other hand, we can't go into the first games also with just using the first games just as preseason anyhow for our key players. So we need to find a good balance and to watch unbelievably carefully in training who is really ready, who can have an impact and also can handle the load in this competitive games, and also provide a good performance on the pitch. And some players will need a bit longer in terms of being prepared for a league match. So it's a tricky balance anyhow, because we have many players who missed out many friendly games or didn't have that many minutes. So, but it's a situation, and like I mentioned, so the first 2-3 weeks, the first game, still the first international break, we have to dig in anyhow and work our way anyhow into the season, and then perhaps in 2 or 3 weeks we can expect them to be at our best. But the team selections for the first games will be a bit tricky, and we have some make late decisions and need to find a good balance in order to be competitive for these games, and also give ourselves a chance in order to win points and to be there with good results. But on the other hand, also to in this league, and that's a task for myself, the coaching stuff, and it's a bit tricky. You're right.
Jurgen's done his media a bit earlier today. Again, very complimentary the work you're doing here. But he did say that he actually used the phrase sensational. Some of the signings you've made, he referenced Billy Gilmore, lads you knew about from the Bundesliga, Sergeant Rashica. Does that underscore what you've said all along, that if you can just get these final bits of business done, when you look back yourself and Stuart, it will be a very, very good window for Norwich?
Yes, first of all, we are happy that a world-class coach like Jurgen praises us, and it's always good to get compliments. It's also good for the lads to hear some nice words, and Jurgen's not just a fantastic and world-class coach, he's also a world-class human being. It's always great to get some compliments. Yeah, on the other side, he didn't sign those players for Liverpool, so probably there are also a few players around who are also capable to play some football. So we have to be a bit careful also, like with his compliments. Yes, we also got the feeling that we had some good signings and also players with potential, but it's still up to them to prove this on a top level. And yes, Josh Sargent, for example, and Milot Vasica have proved this on Bundesliga level. They're capable to have an impact, but they still do to prove this on Premier League level. The same with Billy Gilmore, of course, he's full of potential anyhow, but he has to prove this also on Premier League level. Or Chris Osol is highly rated anyhow, also great in Greece for such a young lad, but he's just a young lad and he has to prove this on Premier League level. So right now we're speaking and talking about the best league in the world, and this is a different animal in comparison to all the other leagues. So for us, it's still not possible. Yeah, for example, when we speak about signings, to sign a proven goal scorer on this level who has a guarantee that he delivers with double figures each and every Premier League season, because to sign such a player, you need to invest the money that you all know. So it's simply not possible for us anyhow. And the same a little bit on other positions. So we still have to be a bit more creative. We have to still to be a bit more risky anyhow, and perhaps with bringing some young players in, or some players who had perhaps a more difficult season, like Milot had, for example, in last season with Werder Bremen. So we still have to be a bit more creative and a bit more risky, but this is our way. And we also got the gut feeling that we had some good signings. But again, they will also need some time till they then can shine. Josh Sargent, for example, just arrived a few days ago. Chris Solis just 2 days ago. Also with Milot, we had the problem with the COVID situation, not that easy. And also all the other new signings. So we'll see how it plays out in the end. It's still up to us to prove that we deserve all the compliments for our signings, and we have also lost one of our key players, for example, with Emi Buendia, who was also crucial for our game. So we just can speak about our signings once the transfer window is ended, and but we all got the feeling we're on the right path, and if we can make sure that the final pieces are also on this standard. So far, many compliments to Stuart Webber. I think so far he's done an amazing and great job. If we can get the final pieces right, then I think we're in a good situation also to play a good season.
Just a final one from me, kind of on a similar theme. Is it reading too much into it that you brought in Sargent, Zolis and Rashica, players who, do they hint at you're looking at the final third at this level and maybe thinking you need to do something slightly different, and not dramatically away from your way and how you want your teams to set up, but did you feel, looking at those players, they all have very similar attributes and qualities? Was that an area of the squad you thought, going back into the Premier League, you needed to address, or is that people thinking that you're going to maybe try and set up more counter-attacking because you might have less of the possession than you would have maybe in the Championship? But is that probably reading, over-interpreting what you're trying to do?
Of course, we have our principles and our values, how we play, and of course you have to adapt a little bit also to each and every opponent. It was the same on Championship level. So you prepare your team for each and every opponent, and you always want to see the same principles, but of course it differs. If you play a side like Middlesbrough or if you play a side like Brentford anyhow, so it's different, and we have to do the same. Also on Premier League level, it's different. If you play Liverpool, it's different to Manchester City, it's different to Burnley, it's different to Watford, it's different to Tottenham. So you have to be flexible in your approach by not losing your principles. That's quite important. If I'm honest, we were looking to strengthen all areas. Of course, the final third, it was definitely necessary, especially also after we have lost with Emi Buendia, fantastic players who has delivered many end products with goals and assists, and we tried to bring also this in, and we still have also many technical players, and we wanted also a bit more players who are perhaps also a bit more pacey, and perhaps also in the final third, and bring some different strength to the team. That was one topic. But also our additions on midfield, for example. So Pierre Lesmelou and Billy Gilmore, really good football players, great with the ball. It's not that just they win the ball and put the ball up front. No, we will still want to dominate possession as much as possible. But you also know when we face sides like Liverpool or Man City or Chelsea or all the others, it's not that easy to dominate each and every game with 80% possession. So, of course, we have to be also a bit flexible. And you also want to strengthen our defense also in the upcoming days. Hopefully, we can strengthen also this area a little bit, but in general, we all got the feeling we're on a good way, and hopefully we can also have the final pieces right, and then we are in a good shape also for the season.
Thanks, Daniel. Thanks for your time today. Good luck tomorrow. Cheers.
Thanks a lot, Paddy. Thank you.
Thanks, Paddy. Okay, Ella.
Wait on my laptop a little bit. What can we do?
Ella, you're currently muted.
Hi, Daniel. Can I ask a question in German or should I ask in English?
I'm fine, also with German. If my guys are happy, yes, they are happy, all good.
Talk German?
Wir können auf Deutsch sprechen, kein Problem.
Okay, super. Daniel, ich habe das Gefühl, Sie sind wahnsinnig emotional jetzt. Ich habe mir ein paar Pressekonferenzen zurückliegend angeschaut. Es ist sehr viel Sachlichkeit drin, aber auch wahnsinnig viele Emotionen. Wie würden Sie das jetzt, den Aufstieg von vor 2 Jahren zu dem Aufstieg jetzt, also diese erste Pressekonferenz zeigt sehr viel Sachlichkeit, aber wie gesagt, ich habe das Gefühl, dass bei Ihnen viel mehr Emotionen und Zuversicht drin sind.
Nein, Emotionen und Zuversicht war auch vor 2 Jahren drin. Also wir haben uns da auch nicht wehrlos irgendwie in die Premier League gewagt und wir wollten da auch das Wunder schaffen. Also wir waren schon hoch motiviert und generell ist es, glaube ich, immer wichtig, eine gute Balance zu finden zwischen guter, sachlicher, inhaltlicher Arbeit, also ohne Inhalte und ohne inhaltlich, taktisch, sachlich spot on zu sein und eine Top-Arbeit abzuliefern, hast du auf dem höchsten Niveau keine Chance, aber du musst ja nicht nur die Köpfe und das taktische Verhalten der Spieler erreichen, sondern auch ihre Herzen, und das ist auch wichtig und auch gerade wenn man in so einer außergewöhnlichen Position einen ganzen Club oder eine ganze Stadt führt, dann ist es auch wichtig, irgendwie so nicht nur die Köpfe, sondern auch die Herzen zu erreichen, und so diese Balance versuchen wir immer hinzubekommen, auch in einer großen Sachlichkeit. Also bin da auch niemand, der da an der Seitenlinie irgendwie hoch und runter springt und irgendeine Show aufführt, da irgendwie um die Zuschauer anzupeitschen, sondern ich versuche auch dort dann eher Ruhe auszustrahlen, aber das, was wir machen, das wollen wir dann natürlich auch mit einer hohen Emotionalität dann immer auch versehen, und Fußball ist auch ein Sport für Fans und ist auch ein Sport, der geprägt ist von Emotionen, und wenn wir das immer nur alles sachlich abarbeiten, dann wäre es wahrscheinlich sinnvoller, dann irgendwie im Steuerrecht aktiv zu sein als in diesem Business. Also von daher muss man, glaube ich, immer einen guten Mix schaffen, und hoffentlich haben wir dann auch eine gute Balance dann auch für die kommende Saison.
Wie kriegen Sie diese Sachlichkeit und Emotionen an einem Abend vor so einem Spiel? Das ist das erste Spiel nach einem furiosen Aufstieg, könnte man sagen, eine lange nicht, also ungeschlagen. Wie kriegen Sie diese Balance mit den Spielern? Führen Sie noch Einzelgespräche oder habt ihr Rituale oder ist das jetzt eher, wie kriegt man die Emotionen mit Sachlichkeit da zusammen vor so einem Spiel?
Es ist immer gut, wenn man sich auf Inhalte beschränkt und dann einfach auch sachlich analysiert. Also es ist jetzt nicht so, dass wir unfassbar emotionale Bilder zeigen, sondern wir gehen auf die Inhalte ein. Ja? Wir gehen darauf ein, wie Liverpool spielt, was sie mit dem Ball machen, was sie gegen den Ball machen, was für uns wichtig sein wird gegen den Ball, was wir im Ballbesitz machen müssen, auf die Inhalte auch das ganz konkret anzusprechen. Ja, natürlich dann in den letzten Minuten vor dem Spiel. Der ganze Tag wird dann auch nochmal inhaltlich dann natürlich auch sehr, sehr orientiert sein, aber die letzten Minuten vom Spiel ist dann natürlich dann auch nochmal so, dass man versucht, die Spieler dann zu emotionalisieren, und das geschieht dann auch eher ein bisschen spontan. Ja, manchmal hat man das Gefühl, dass man ein bisschen anschieben muss, manchmal muss man die Jungs eher beruhigen und ihnen Vertrauen zusprechen, dass ist dann auch relativ unterschiedlich, dann auch von Spieler zu Spieler. Das Gefühl muss man dann auch irgendwie ein Stück weit entwickeln. Gerade die jungen Spieler brauchen dann vielleicht auch eher mal einen Arm um die Schulter irgendwie und ein bisschen Zuspruch. Den anderen Spieler muss man vielleicht auch eher ein bisschen emotionalisieren. Das ist dann irgendwie so auch so, ja, dann einer gewissen Erfahrung geschuldet. Das ist ja jetzt auch nicht so, dass wir dann zum ersten Mal gegen Liverpool spielen. Also wir haben ja auf dem höchsten Level jetzt irgendwie gearbeitet. Ich habe hier in England, ja, ich weiß nicht, fast 200 Spiele irgendwie auf dem Top-Level auch abgeliefert. Das ist jetzt nicht so, dass man da selbst jetzt unfassbar emotional ist, weil Spiele gegen Liverpool, gegen Manchester City, gegen Chelsea gehören zur Tagesordnung. Also wir haben vor 2 Jahren hier gespielt oder auch im letzten Jahr auf dem Level. Ja, und die Premier League ist die beste Liga der Welt. Ja, da ist ein Spiel gegen Jürgen Klopp oder seine Truppe irgendwie Normalität, ja, weil die nächste Woche spielt es dann gegen Pep Guardiola, dann gegen José Mourinho, dann gegen Carlo Ancelotti oder jetzt Thomas Tuchel und Rafa Benitez. Also das ist Normalität hier. Also es ist nicht so, dass man dann einfach unfassbar reflektiert und denkt, oh, was sind das jetzt für Top-Trainer oder Top-Teams? Das ist hier die Normalität und ja, da muss man irgendwie vorbereitet sein und trotzdem eine gewisse Emotionalität an den Tag legen, absolut. Aber auch eine gewisse Ruhe ausstrahlen, eine gewisse Coolness an den Tag legen und hoffentlich gelingt es dann auch, um die Spieler in die richtige Stimmung fürs Spiel zu bringen.
Also keine schlaflosen Nächte davon.
Nein, ich kann sehr gut schlafen, ist alles gut.
Und nochmal noch eine Sache, kommuniziert man dann nochmal vor dem Spiel mit dem anderen Trainer? Ihr kennt euch ja, ich meine gerade mit Jürgen Klopp, also wünscht man sich Erfolg oder wünscht man sich gar nichts, sagt man nichts oder schickt man nichts?
Nein, generell ist es ein sehr entspanntes Verhältnis. Jürgen ist ein fantastischer Typ und natürlich, als diese Fixture-List dann auch rauskam, haben wir dann auch mal die eine oder andere Nachricht hin und her geschickt und ein bisschen geflaxt. Ich habe ihm gesagt, es ist ein gutes Zeichen für ihn, weil immer, wenn er uns zum Auftakt spielt, gewinnt er die Liga. Also er sollte froh sein mit dieser Fixture-List. Also von daher, wir haben ein sehr, sehr gutes Verhältnis. Es ist immer schön, dann irgendwie auch mit den anderen Trainern dann in Kontakt zu sein und in England ist auch ein guter Brauch, dass man sich nach dem Spiel dann irgendwie mit dem Trainer auch nochmal trifft. Also die Wertschätzung dort ist sehr, sehr hoch. Ist kein Zufall, dass der erste Weg, bevor man dann mit seiner Mannschaft irgendwie jubelt oder vielleicht auch mal leidet nach einem Spiel, direkt zur gegnerischen Trainerbank ist. Ein Shake Hands ist dann ganz normal und in der Regel ist es dann auch so, dass man sich nach dem Spiel nochmal trifft, um auch so ein bisschen zu reflektieren und auch einen Respekt gegenüber zu bringen. Das ist eine sehr, sehr gute und angenehme Tradition und das wird fast mit allen Trainern geprägt und ich kann einfach nur das Zusammenspiel dann irgendwie auch auf höchstem Niveau mit Jürgen sowieso, aber auch mit allen anderen Trainern. Mit Thomas Tuchel bin ich zum Beispiel seit meiner Dortmunder Zeit verbunden. Ich habe ein tolles Verhältnis irgendwie gehabt habe es nach wie vor auch zu Pep Guardiola, mit José Mourinho. Ich kann mich erinnern, mit José haben wir innerhalb von weil hier Hin- und Rückspiele zum Teil auch sehr nah aneinander fallen und dann gibt es noch 2 Cup-Wettbewerbe, haben wir dann vor 4 Wochen 4-mal gegeneinander gespielt. Wir sind dann aus dem Wasser trinken nach dem Spiel, ja, mittlerweile trinkt man nur Wasser und kein Wein mehr wie in früheren Zeiten, sind wir gar nicht mehr rausgekommen aus dem Mineralwasser trinken und Spiele analysieren. Also von daher ist das Miteinander mit den Trainern hier wirklich sehr, sehr angenehm und sehr, sehr gut und ist dann immer schön, dann auch jemanden wie Jürgen dann zu sehen und bin sicher, dass wir auch am Rande des Spiels dann auch Zeit haben für einen oder anderen Plausch.
Viel Erfolg, Dankeschön.
Dankeschön.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thanks.
Michael.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Yes,
Daniel.
we switch back to English, Michael. I would recommend.
Well, I was gonna say I've only got one question, and I've got no idea if you've just been asked it, but I'm kind of guessing. I'm kind of guessing not. I know you've had a set amount of tactical work you'd have wanted to get done in pre-season. Can you get any of that done with any of the players if they're not on the training pitch? I mean, are there ways you can do that with? Because some of them have just been, I say just been self-isolating, so kind of in a room by themselves. I mean, have you been able to be creative with things like that?
I tell you what, this was and is always the most challenging topic during preseason because sometimes players arrive later. Once these players have worked with you before, they know at least several things about the principles. It's a bit easier, for example, once a player like Timo Pukki arrives a bit later in comparison to a player like Josh Sargent, for example, who has never worked together with me. It's also challenging when new players or new signings come in a bit later because you have already worked on several tactical topics anyhow, and you have to work unbelievably creative anyhow. So for example, one of our tasks was also like when we had meetings about tactical behavior, we recorded it anyhow and brought this in also more like to the players who had to isolate themselves, or to the new players, in order that all the players are more or less like on the same page. It's unbelievably difficult, because preseason is also about fitness, yes, but that's not the only topic. The most important topic is also like to work on your game and your tactical behavior against the ball, with the ball as a team, and it's quite difficult when not all the players are available. And during this preseason, I have to say that was the biggest challenge anyhow, and the most difficult task, and we had to be creative in many ways, and hopefully in the end it pays off, because it doesn't help you when you have the excuse, there was a COVID outbreak, or we had the new signings perhaps even a bit later in, so we have to deliver from the first game day, and this makes it challenging, but I don't complain. I've got a fantastic job and a privileged job, and I don't want to have too much sympathy anyhow, so for that we found hopefully some creative ways, and hopefully all of my players are perfectly prepared.
That's fantastic. I mean, last pre-season was supposed to be the hardest in history, so I suppose we tried to top it. Loads of luck tomorrow. I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. And finally, Rob.
Hello, Daniel.
Rob, good to talk to you.
I'll let you have a drink, get ready for this.
Thank
Here we
you.
go. Right, so we're going to go back over a bit of old ground, I'm afraid, but let's just talk about Josh Sargent, because perhaps he hasn't got as big a mention as Jolis yet. We'll talk about him in a moment. What was it that made you so desperate to get into Norwich City?
Well, in general, it's always like we have lost with Emiliano Buendia many end products in terms of assists and goals anyhow, and of course we're looking forward to bring also players in who can deliver this end products. And if I'm honest, it's for us as a club always unbelievably difficult to bring a proven Premier League striker in, because you all know the sums. When you want to bring Danny Ings, you know how much money you need to have in order to bring such a player in. So it's always difficult to bring players in who guarantee you double figures, for example, per season. But for that we need to be a bit more creative and a bit more risky, and also like to find then perhaps players who can develop into such a player who is then capable to score double figures also on this level. Thank God we've got with Timo Pukki a player who has proved that he's capable to score double figures on this level. And with Josh, we got the feeling so he's a striker full of potential, with a pretty impressive goal scoring record also on his youth level, pretty impressive goal scoring record for his national team. And also with Werder Bremen, he's just 21 years old, but he has already 70 games on the top level for Bundesliga side, and also has produced double figures in terms of goals and assists. Of course, he has to improve a little bit in these numbers, but he was also playing for a side who was struggling in the last 2 years a little bit. And with Josh, we got the feeling so he's a player full of potential. He's pacey, he's good with the head, he works his socks off with his team during this game, and he's also capable not just to play in the striker role, but also behind the striker, he's capable to play on the wing, so pretty versatile, and also great character. In addition to that, his English is perfect. He's a guy from the USA. He doesn't has to adapt to the language. Perhaps a little bit with my Scottish and Irish players, well, because he's struggling to understand them a little bit with them, and he's already arguing that they don't speak English, if I'm honest. But in general, so he ticked many boxes, and for that we all have big hopes that he can develop. Perhaps not today, hopefully tomorrow, only a little bit more. But he's just with us since a few days, and we all got the feeling so he can have a major impact also for the future, because we have for example also a fantastic player like Timo Pukki. But Timo, before the season ends, he will be 32 anyhow. So it's hopefully, and I'm also trustful that he can play till 42. But we have to think a bit also about the future anyhow. And for that, I think it was an unbelievably smart signing, and there was lots of competition. Perhaps Josh is not the biggest name here in England, but in Bundesliga level, nearly each and every club was really thinking about him, and many compliments to Stuart Webber that he was capable to bring him in. And I think we found a fantastic potential, a player who is full of potential and also fantastic character. It's up to us to work with him, and then also up to him to prove that he can deliver on the top level. But we all got the feeling that he can have a major impact in the mid and the long term future, and also hopefully on the short term.
Yeah, great stuff. I mean, with Jolis, obviously you've described him as one of the best prospects in Europe for his age group, and obviously lots of fans have been excited about it. They've been following him in on his flight and what have you on Twitter, which is really fun. You're obviously confident that the pressure that he will get from being described as so good, he can handle it. He can live with that on his shoulders.
Yes, but we make sure that we don't put additional pressure on him. So we are all happy that we have him. There was lots of competition around him. Also, again, many compliments to Stuart. Fantastic work to bring a player of his potential in. But let's be honest, so he's a 19-year-old guy who has played in Greece. So it's not like you can't compare him, for example, with Josh, who had already 70 games on the top level in the top league, like Bundesliga level. So Christos is a player full of potential. But he's 2 years younger. He hasn't played in the top league so far, so he will need some time also to adapt. But we also got the feeling, so he's a top signing for the mid and the long term, and we also have many hopes that he can already deliver on the short term. But also my attitude. He hasn't played one game on the top level and the top flight, so for that we don't expect him that he cuts all alone the Premier League into pieces. So we'll work with him, and then we got the feeling he can have an impact, hopefully rather sooner than later, but we'll also give him the time to adapt a little bit to this level, and it's never that easy also with the language, a different football culture, different intensity, but definitely also a pretty promising signing for the future. Again, I don't expect that he will cut Liverpool all alone tomorrow into pieces. We'll see if we select him already for the game day squad, but I'm pretty happy that we have him, and hopefully he brings lots of fun and lots of joy also in the hearts and the souls of our supporters pretty soon.
Absolutely, and it's interesting to hear, some people think that the world revolves around the Premier League and there's nothing below it. I mean, people who follow Norwich no different to that. As you said earlier, you had your best ever season in the history of the club last season, 97 points. So I think it was interesting when you were talking about comparing things to the last time Norwich were up. There's been a lot happened since then, hasn't there? You've got new players in, and those players have got lots of confidence from, let's be honest, winning most games last season.
I tell you what, so of course it was a bit disappointing outcome last time we were in the Premier League. I would have liked to work our little miracle and to stay there. It's always better to stay on the top level, but even this season I got the feeling so it was important for the developing of the club, because we were really able to sort all our financial problems out. We had a bit calmness and also to invest in the infrastructure, to extend the contracts of our young lads, so to invest into the academy. So we are a different club in comparison to 2 years ago, and also to have this bounce back mentality, also to handle then a situation where we were a bit kind of a favorite on championship level, and to fulfill this and to finish then with the best season in history was quite important for achieving a bit more maturity in the club, and so for that, this consistency that we've showed anyhow also in the last season was quite good. And again, so we got the feeling we are much better prepared this time around. It will still be tricky and not easy, and a big challenge for the only self-funding club on this level, but we still got the feeling that we've got a chance this season, and we try to give it a go.
Just finally, we've been talking to lots of fans this week, as you can imagine, the build-up, talking about coming back to Carrow Road, which is a huge thing. It's almost as big as the game, really, the fact that there's going to be 27,000 fans there. We've asked lots of kind of fans and legends such as Jeremy Goss what they think about Carrow Road as a place. I mean, your chance now to tell us what you think of Carrow Road. I know you call it the home, the living room. It's an important place to you.
It's the heart and the soul of our club. So within this stadium, so it's really, that's why I call it a home, a living room, because a home is our castle. So you could feel that our heart is beating exactly at Carrow Road, and there's nothing comparing to the vibe and the togetherness and the spirit and the feeling when we united together. Yeah, of course, the lads on the pitch representing this yellow shirt, but also to interact with our supporters, because they also play a major part, and to have Carrow Road rocking anyhow, to share this moment. Yeah, sometimes also to suffer after a difficult game, but then also to feel the unity and to celebrate together. This is what football is all about. It's all about togetherness, all about supporters, all about the spirit that we want to create. And again, so for me, we're talking too often about money, about contracts. Anyhow, it's about to share this feelings and these experiences together, and this is what happens at Carrow Road. It's more like the home of our heart, and hopefully the heart and the soul will pulsate tomorrow, and hopefully it's a pulsating atmosphere, and that everyone also feels how precious and priceless it is to be together, reunited more or less since 18 months, and to be able to celebrate promotion together, to celebrate to be back on the big stage together, to celebrate together that we have the right to play on the top level again. So hopefully we can create together with them also this atmosphere, and we need this also in order to be competitive against one of the best sides in the world. It's great to be allowed to host one of the best sides in the world, and hopefully we can also show that we all together with this unity are competitive.
Thanks, Daniel. All the very best for tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Rob. Thank you.
The recording has stopped.
Rob, thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. We will leave it there, and as always, we will endeavour to get the recording of this press conference sent around later this afternoon. Thank you.